Morning, everyone. Thank you for the participation. Today, this is one more episode in our series of podcasts that we've been doing for the last few months. Um, I'll give you a brief about what education redesign agenda is, and then put the context of today's podcast and introduce our guest discussant. And then we'll get into the podcast itself. To start about education redesign, is a global non-profit organization dedicated to improving education and openly propagating its recommendations, framework, curricula, courseware, and professional development on a worldwide basis via answering the question why, what, and how education in the age of AI or for the age of AI. or education redesign endeavors to explore at the crossroads of education, technology, economy, society, human behavior, philosophy, and curriculum innovation to understand the essential shifts needed to prepare learners for a world driven by artificial intelligence. Its focus and relevance in education brings together international organizations, governments, academic institutions, corporations, and nonprofits. All through history, we have seen right from Stone Ages to agricultural revolution and industrial revolution, and today recent digital revolution and the current AI revolution that we have seen, they influence the economy and society. And economy and society in turn determines what the education system should be, because we are a part of the economic system. And in this context, we have seen in the 18th century, which is the recent changes in economy and academics, the Industrial Revolution created a class of workers who used machines to produce and for various other purposes, communication, transportation, distribution, etc. And recent times, things have changed. The digital era, we have become an age of prosumers, and we are seeing there's a huge disconnect between the workplace and the education system. However, machines today have evolved. The education system has not changed. Human labor is now replaced by data points. These new artificial technologies are in the cusp of relegating humans to just consumption activities. Therefore, our quest is to understand the causality between technology, economy, and society, and education in the age of AI. As a part of this series of activities, we have invited today discussant Mr. Gopi Kumar Bulusu. He is the CEO and CTO of Sankhya Technologies, a veteran technologist. He graduated from the State University of Arizona, and with more, I think, approximately 25 to 30 years of experience in this space. And he's a pioneer in several fields for the Indian context. He has worked on a lot of native technologies, trying to facilitate the local tech community with much more enlightened activities. So let me read a brief about Mr. Gopi Bulusu. Gopi Kumar Bulusu is the founder and chief technologist at Sankhya Technologies, a company that builds technology platforms for a connected world. At Sankhya, Gopi Bulusu led an R&D team for over 23 years in the development of technology platforms for modeling, abstraction, and synthesis. Gopi's key interests include design technology platforms and complex system development. Gopi is a founder member of Gravity 2.0 Research Foundation, which IGES, Institute of Geoeconomic Studies, and the chair at Supercomputing Consortium of India. Gopi is also the founder of Electronics Private Limited, an independent fabless semiconductor startup. Dreamchip is a developer of the world's first Sanskriti computer. Dreamchip's Siddhi digital education platform has been developed all the way up from 32-bit processor design stage to a finished product prototype within a span of 4 years, leveraging cutting-edge design technology from Sankhya Technologies. I can say he has been a member of a lot of national organizations. He has a lot of patents to his credit. He's a member of IEEE India Council, a lot of international collaborations, published extensively. He has worked on a lot of technology platforms, he created and developed them, a lot of honors and recognition and awards. So just to give you a just, we have a right person today to address our podcast. And we're very glad. Welcome, sir.
Thanks for the
So
opportunity.
we'll start with the questions. You understand the context of where we are. At this point, everything, the entire discussion across the world is about AI, whether it is education, whether it is healthcare, whether it's infrastructure, whether all the investment seems to be diverted to that. And finally, what are the jobs going to be? So the question is, everybody is predicting that in the next coming short term, 70% of our jobs are going to be replaced, sir. And they're also predicting that 80% of the jobs that we have today won't be there. They'll be replaced by new jobs that don't exist now. That means the past, we don't really care about what's happening, but the present is more or less gone. And we see that the present is in a situation where it's in a flux. We are not sure. And the future is not here as yet. Given this context, we know that AI will radically shape the labor market. What do you think about the future of employment, sir?
I think that's a very, very heavy question. And as a computer scientist, trained computer scientist, I think I can say that generally there is a tendency when someone is doing a work which is repetitive, there is a tendency, that to think of that work as a boring work. Is there a way to automate it? So this is given rise to various industrial revolutions with various names. And I think the new revolution is really moving into the more complex things that humans, whether it is using their intellectual capability or mental faculty, or combination of ability to do fine arts, for example, things mechanical, but which involve significant levels of intelligence. So as this capability of automation is moving towards a higher level activities that humans do, it might be normal for us to today think that, hey, this is something which is very revolutionary. And I think in many ways it is revolutionary. However, I think if we go back to the time when people were doing, so it might be normal for us to think of what is happening today as the most important change. However, if we really look back into the past, similar changes have happened, and at every stage, I think change has been felt as something which was disruptive. And then people would then realize that, okay, this change is not too bad because there is a certain increase in the total human, work product output. And when the output rises and there is opportunity, then there are issues of how this opportunity is shared, divided up between those that are investing, those that are working, and those that are like governing everybody else. So I feel that this time around, AI is definitely raising the bar in terms of what can be automated. However, I believe that it is not as easy to automate things that people do, complex things people do, than it may first appear. So today's AI appears to do things, and it has a great promise, and it is certain to automate a lot of the repetitive tasks that people do. But then people don't do only repetitive tasks. There is a minute in everyone's work day where they're probably doing something slightly different. And there may be a lot of things people do repetitively across. That means many people doing the same thing. Now, I think many people doing the same thing is where the biggest impact will be felt, because taking these new technologies, there'll be companies which say, hey, if we can save 1 hour of time for everyone every day through automation, then there is going to be investments, there is returns. So where the capital will go, I think will be first in that kind of a mass impact. It may not go, replace the complete work week of a person, but replace an hour of every day, or replace So that kind of trend is likely to happen. So there will be some job shifting from areas where the time is saved to the areas where the work to save the time. So I feel that the disruption is not going to be overnight. It won't be as disastrous as in a year everybody loses jobs, but it will be there. And people, I think, should in general, those that are worried about their career should actively start doing something where they contribute to their work, their organization in some way by doing something slightly different. So jobs are going to be very, very secure.
Yes, sir. Now, when I look at the labor market in India, especially, and across the world, we have three sectors: the industry, the agriculture, and the service sector. Which do you think, sir, will be affected the most initially and at a later in the long term?
I believe that AI is like a platform, so it is likely to have similar level of effect across the board. It's more like bringing electricity into the everyday life. It affects everyone to varying degrees. So AI is more of a utility, right? I mean, it was not that long ago people were talking about utility computing. So if we see the trends today, there are a lot of investment going into building these huge data centers, that is the AI data centers. Clearly, these are not being built for any one industry or one user.
Yes.
Because many of the people who are building these data centers don't yet know where their returns are going to come from. So there will be an effort to take it horizontally. I was actually doing some research when I was doing the master's at Arizona State University, and my professor who taught planning, which is considered to be a one of the more harder things that people do. Even for AI, it is a hard thing even today. And so at the end of the semester, the professor said, "Okay, I told you about planning and gave you all the techniques. But let me warn you," he said, "there is a whole school of people who think that humans don't really do a lot of planning. They change their environment so that the need for planning reduces." So a simple example would be if you want, even like 30 years ago when people would write a letter and put it in a mailbox or a post box, they know where to find the post box. It's not like they have to search for it every time. So we structure things, right? There are these franchises where you go to a subway anywhere in the world, it'll feel the same. So you don't have to plan for what to pick up from the menu item. So there's a lot of standardization that happens, and people don't really use the full capability that they have in terms of planning, because the society organizes to reduce planning.
Correct.
Yeah. So in terms of the overall impact, it's across the thing. It's a platform, and there will be emergence, as you mentioned, because the availability of a new technology alters the way the society plans things. So the kind of work we do may also change a little bit, but I feel that it won't be more than a 1% impact every year. So if we look at the global GDP, I'm just trying to quantize it, right? It may be a 1% impact because more than 8 billion people worldwide, and with very thinking brains, each of them better than any of today's AI in some way, in the way they work. So there's not enough capital in the world to go and replace all these jobs over in 1 year. So the focus will be on the low hanging fruit first across the spectrum of jobs. So I would say the impact is going.
We may have more machines than humans.
Yeah, it will take time because it costs. So economics is going to decide what gets done first.
Right. Because today, I think when you look at IoT, there are more machines than humans in a house. So eventually, yes. But unlike the machines which are static, we'll have dynamic machines probably down the line.
Yes. Yeah. And also more dynamic society.
Dynamic, correct. Yes, sir. Because just Jensen Huang of NVIDIA, he says he's building in Arizona itself huge data centers. Each of these data centers are the size of Manhattan itself. They require of thousands of vocationally trained people, plumbers, carpenters, electricians, more than people who are going to be doing AI or related aspects. So the question is, do we need traditional education or is it going to be vocational? Because till now having a degree seems to be the main qualification, 4-year degrees or higher education. Now suddenly we see the landscape changing. All the white collar and entry level jobs are going out. Can you speak something about that, sir? Because most of these things are repetitive, like you mentioned.
Yeah, I think this is a favorite topic for many of us.
Right, right.
Because we had a conversation with a few engineers that have graduated after 4 years of engineering from different branches. I asked them, how many of you have used a screwdriver professionally? That means as part of your education. No one has used a screwdriver. We're talking about something very complex.
Right.
So our education system has certain built-in flaws today, because I think they are not very balanced. The education is not balanced between theory and practice. There is a tendency to move towards not even pure theory, right? I mean, of studying things, articles, and writing exams. I feel that the impact on education will be profound, because the need, for example, when a calculator comes in, the need to calculate goes away. But the ability to calculate is still important because one doesn't use a calculator 24/7. There are small calculations one has to do, sometimes extremely fast pace. So similarly, AI removes the need for remembering how to solve a problem, maybe, because it can bring that capability to the table when required. But then people may not have AI with them all the time, even if there is a device everywhere. So there are situations where people have to understand how to solve problems. So the core education has to still stay. But I think the practical aspects of education need to be increased. I feel that is very important. But there is a second very major point. It might see, if we look at cars today, it's like hundreds of types of cars are there. Then cars are not the only way to move from point to point. We have scooters, we have auto rickshaws, we have trains, buses, and then it's not that all of them run on diesel or petrol. There are electrical vehicles, there are cycles that we pedal. So it's not like a singular technology drives mobility for humans. A singular technology doesn't drive energy for humans. Even water, there are so many ways in which one can get water. So AI at this point is at a stage where the ability to have a general solution for solving a general set of problems, a general class of problems, a general solutions.
Correct.
Is the feeling that today's technology gives us. But this is going to specialize too. So when the technologies are going to specialize, then the nature of AI or the nature of intelligent things or intelligence other than of human origin will also specialize in many ways. I think there are going to be a lot of jobs created in creating specific special class of artificial intelligence. There may be a quest for general AGI, artificial general intelligence, because of the way the specialization, the role, the value of specialization in economics. So the society, there will be a lot of research opportunities, lot of all the way up from maybe high school to PhD level to create specialized forms of intelligence. I think that's artificial intelligence, and that will be a source of that will be a I would say that would be a topic for both education as well as employment and research, startups, more investments flowing into alternate ways of doing things that meet the needs of a particular application. And that's a huge one right now in terms of an economic potential, because there is this feeling that there are only 2 or 3 companies dominating AI or 2 or 3 countries dominating AI. What do the rest of the 7 billion people do? But I think every part of the world has certain knowledge, which is slightly more than the other parts. It may be true for a very large country like India as well. And ways to do AI other than using just raw GPU. I think there is a huge opportunity.
Yeah, it looks like we may have another era of inequalities between countries and between people based on their level of skills and exposure to AI. So this is
That may,
going to decide the job creation, which is native to every location.
yeah, I think this is where, I mean, you are, I mean, I have to be careful talking to an economist and a professor in economics.
No, no, that's right.
I think that economics is a very intelligent thing, right? It's already an intelligent thing, because the way what happens is, when these specialized forms of AI come into picture, say somebody who is already strong in robots may come up with a different form. Somebody who is strong in making ships may come up with a different form of AI, right? So that inequality is going to be temporary. It will be like whoever is leading that entire AI wave may initially think that they can dominate the whole entire spectrum of human activity, but I think that will be very difficult to do. History has shown us that technology doesn't work that way. No one can hold. It's like hot lava. You can't just hold it and control it. There are a lot of minds across the world.
Eventually, everybody will catch up.
Yeah, so I think it's not like a catch up. It is like a meetup, really, because when the world sees that there is a demand for a particular thing, then they alter the way their own capital is being invested. Yeah, so different forms of AI will be there. So it's like everybody will be leading in some area.
See, the question is, how am I going to get middle level employees or higher level employees without having beginning stage training, the beginning stage, first level, entry level employees? That's a question. We're not going to be able to get higher level and middle level. Their jobs are safe, they're saying. If you don't train the initial at the initial stage, and if machines are going to replace all job trainees initially, that's a challenge I see. Companies want to have middle and higher level managements or trainees or technicians or technologists. How do you think this is evolving? Because everybody wants to replace routine jobs with machines.
So here is where I think we discussed this a bit in the earlier questions, right? See,
Right.
when the investment into AI is going, they don't want to replace something of a lower value addition. They want to replace higher value addition. That way they get a higher share of this optimization or improvement, innovation.
Okay.
So it may be that they would like to save 4 hours of the CEO's time across the Fortune 500 companies and make money out of that, or the CXOs and vice presidents. So I think the way tech industry invests is not necessarily like, oh, let's remove all the repetitive jobs. They are not going to do that. They are going to go after where there is more money to be made and more profits to be made. So it may be that they make the senior jobs less dense. Maybe we'll have 4-day weeks. It's possible. So that kind of thing is more likely to happen. I think the work today done by humans, even at the entry level jobs, we're not talking white collar, but let's say mixed
Blue collar,
kind of,
definitely. Yeah. Mhm.
yeah, mixed kind of jobs. Because everywhere today there is a smartphone already. There is no strictly no mobile phone job, right? A lot of people have a smartphone. So I feel that much of this change, see, there will be companies going after huge number of hours saved that together save, large, but per hour saving is less. So that will be a business model.
Right.
But that won't be the Silicon Valley business model, because Silicon Valley doesn't go after those jobs, right? They will go after the premium jobs, where somebody getting a $200. I think the CEOs are playing a global chess game. So that aspect of the game, they may use AI as a wall to bounce their ideas and sharpen their games. So I think there will be co-CEOs, yeah, like a co-pilot.
Got it. Yes, sir. So if you are talking to a graduate now, what advice would you give to keep them working through whatever they're studying through the course of assuming that it's going to last them for a lifetime in the age of AI?
I would give everyone the same advice at all times. Don't do same thing every day, every hour, every minute. Your job must be something different every day. If you're doing the same thing for 3 days, and if you are at computer scientist, you automate it yourself before somebody else does it. You be your own disruptive force. Obviously, for students, this advice is useful because they have not chosen a field where they lose control, right? I mean, once somebody starts working, their agency is a bit diluted. But for students, I think it's still an open world out there. So they should pick jobs where they get more freedom to decide what they're going to and have skills where when somebody gives them a less defined job, they excel at it.
So mostly no fixed jobs in the future. Therefore, better to be learning as you go. Be prepared. You have to pick up a skill where you learn how to learn.
That is part of it. That is one part of it, but not the most important part of it. I think they need to move from, okay, somebody tells me to do this, I do it, to there is an organizational goal or objective and I have to contribute. So move from, a supervised role or a managed role to a role where they contribute to the vision and mission and the goals of an end.
So good, sir. Thank you. So if you are advising a parent comes to you and asks for investment in their children's education, how will you advise them?
Yeah. So there is one of my roles actually involves this kind of thinking. When we work on the Siddhi Digital School Bag, for example, we keep thinking about education and how a digital education platform can play a role. I think one of the things is we have education which is super standardized today, and it's like everybody learning the same thing, everybody prepared to do the same thing, which is like the thing that will be the most disrupted by technology all the time, which is what we're discussing. So I would say parents should encourage children to learn things outside of the standardized education, new and emerging things, new resources, maybe a little bit more of astronomy, what is going on outside Earth, and what are the opportunities for the human race as it evolves over the next 20, 30 years. So much more of a bigger canvas.
Right. So you're suggesting that they have to put them in, we have to have new curriculums which are multidisciplinary, which prepare them to not lifetime jobs, but ever-changing job market.
Actually, my apologies. I actually don't say that.
Okay.
I think career is a journey. So if someone
Pardon?
has set a career is a journey. So if someone has set a career goal, it must stay reasonably fixed. Because if people do something different every day, every month, as a survival to evolve along with automation, then they become subservient to technology. I think people have to stay a step ahead of technology, where technology becomes their tool. They don't become a tool for technology.
So what you're saying is we won't have 30-year career jobs.
Pardon me?
We will not have 30-year careers, 20-year careers. I think we will continue to have them. That's what you're suggesting.
I'm suggesting that their fundamental aim or objective, let's say somebody says, I'm going to contribute by improving healthcare. Right?
Okay.
So, no, that need not change. They can still be in healthcare space, but it's not like the 4 years of MBBS education that runs for the next 30 years. So some aspect of it must be fixed.
They're constantly updating themselves, yes.
Yeah, I want to be an interplanetary space traveler, for example. I mean, that's a reasonable goal to have for somebody in 5th class today. And
correct.
Yeah, so that need not change. So the thing is, there are some things that don't have to change. It's not like a new philosophy or new religion every day. It's like they have a certain interest, certain goals, objectives. These can change, but as per normal change, not because of technology-driven change. So they have to stay ahead of technology. I think the most important thing is not to become a victim to technology and be in control of technology.
At a macro level, at a country level, in the age of AI, now that we have a situation where millions of displaced workers could happen because of AI, given that they may have to have a new social contract with the government, and the social contract is probably that we expect the government to retrain massive retrainment programs, universal free education or universal social services, universal basic services, universal basic income. All these may start becoming a standard for every country because they expect the government to be the big brother now. What do you think, sir?
See, I believe that as countries get richer, we can assume that AI will have a positive impact on the total, the GDP or output. At least some countries.
Right.
Yeah. So in those countries where there is an increase in the GDP or output, there could be that the governments have more tax collections. So where there are more tax collections, definitely there will be a onus on the government to do more for the citizens and better public good, better education, better healthcare, better roads. I think that should remain the.
For the people who didn't benefit from it.
Yeah. In addition, I used to be I was very interested in the universal basic income kind of thoughts and have had a lot of discussions on this. And I actually like the idea of Professor John Hearn, Professor John Hearn, who actually talks about a income tax. He actually calls it negative income tax, but I call it positive income tax, which is that the government pays for those who are below a certain income threshold. The tax turns into what the government pays the citizen. So I think so that would be close to the objectives of a universal basic income, but avoids the waste because it won't go to everyone, but those who have an income threshold below a particular level, and the lower their income, the higher is the the positive income tax. So, from a citizen perspective, positive; from the government perspective, negative. Right. So I think governments still have to understand that they can't be doing, at the end of the day, they are dependent on be efficiently. Efficiency is very important. They can't just pay out a UBI to somebody who is a millionaire, for example. I think that won't work out. Yeah.
That doesn't make sense as well, right?
Yeah.
So you mean to say there will be some form of a digital taxation where they tax AI related or productivity related, because it's going to industries where there's the small population which will be highly unequal society, in a highly unequal society, they'll be taxed or
I'm not saying any of that. Sorry.
Okay. I'm putting words in your mouth. Go ahead.
Yeah, I would like to see government remain a small government, be efficient government, and where there is it's more of an event driven. See, if the entire society becomes like there are 10% who have all the wealth, 90% don't have it. There's a fundamental flaw in the operation of the free markets. So government should regulate the market so that no one has an undue advantage. The bigger they get, they write their own rules. No, the rules must be same for everyone, similar rules. And if there is more regulation, yeah, they can have more regulation for the larger companies, not for the smaller companies. And that is the best way to ensure that everyone has an opportunity, because somebody can start a new company and they can innovate. There can be enterprise, more jobs are created. But the idea that governments are okay to deal with the inequality levels which are very high, right? Some inequality is taken for granted, but it cannot be like 10% doing everything and 90% are dependent on a dole out from the government. I think so. I feel that government should take free market regulation very seriously. I don't think they should target and tax companies that are innovative, whether it is through AI or for any other innovation, because that will put an end to human development as a human race. Yeah. So I feel governments should take their market regulation activity very, very seriously. Free markets are the foundation for all innovation. and monopolies must be not be allowed, obviously. Yeah.
So, but when we notice there's another wave or a trend that is happening, sir. The other wave is antithesis to the government, which is we are having technology companies or probably AI disrupting companies, which are going to be global players and have global citizens taking care of and everybody is affiliated to these companies. Unlike the concept of nationalism or government and government trying to take care of inequality, all these things may go out of the window. The other. So anyway, these are hypothetical. As we evolve, I think there's going to be a lot of change in the economy and the society.
Yeah, there
Yeah.
can be any number of theories, but the governments do a lot of work that.
Yeah, the social contract is something.
Yeah.
Because today even IT companies are global companies and they're transnational in their nature and probably sometimes above national interests prevail. So anyway, let's hope a good synthesis comes out of all this between the international players and governments. The next question, sir, is a very philosophical question, which basically asks about human strives for diversity within uniformity, whereas mission tries to try for uniformity within diversity. All missions basically are dependent on data, repetition, scale, speed. These are factored in already. There is some level of uniformity like our standardized education in the past. And they are trying to see what is the diversity they can bring about to the world using uniformity as the platform. Whereas humans are on the other way around. No two individuals are the same. Everybody is unique. Every other person is very unique from the rest. Next, but we want to bring in a lot of uniformity, predictive services. So there's a paradoxical between machines and humans. How do you think this is going to impact future jobs?
Okay, I think it's kind of good for science fiction where we put machines and humans as kind of two sides or to be compared. But I think in the
it's complement. You mean okay?
Exist to serve humans. I think so. Right. They have no independent existence, and I think that will stay. It will stay like that at least for a few decades. So, in my view,
even in the age of AGI and ASI, everybody is predicting they're going to become conscious, sentient, self-aware.
See, there is artificial intelligence. So we can say machines have intelligence, but we know there's a difference between the human intelligence and the machine intelligence. So AGI is more of a marketing goal. Can we make a robot that can just go out like a work day and come back in the evening to the factory, maybe for maintenance? So those kinds of things. So there will be more development of AI from going from inside a computer in a cloud to inside a robot that acts like a normal autonomous entity, right? So that would be AGI. But AGI is not going to be like the general intelligence that a human being have. It is not likely to happen in decades. It is a very, very huge challenge.
Right. I'm glad you put it that way, sir, because there is more to life than just
not a mystery.
Education and what missions can do, replace us.
I don't think we are yet talking about that. It won't happen in decades.
Okay.
Because I myself am a technologist and have done a lot of research and development. I know that marketing people do a lot of hype, and otherwise nobody's going to invest in AI or AGI. Yeah, but behind the hype there is also some amount of truth. Do more complex things, right? The cyber physical system space, systems, and I think it's more apt to call it cyber physical systems now. I think it also goes back to education. I think there should be more cyber physical systems design, development, understanding how they work, how to leverage them, how to introduce them into the society.
In your view, sir, which jobs are safe in the age of AI?
I think, anytime someone brings passion to their work and they look at work as, literally something more than just doing things like worship, or they take their work very seriously. Like in India on Vijayadashami, everyone brings their tools together and then literally pray them, right? So I think that kind of a work culture where individuals try to excel and bring passion, and they actually do what they do with their heart. So someone in a restaurant may try to make a customer really happy. Job is there. They're always safe and secure. I think in 1,000 years, nobody can take away the human passion for excellence. So
I'm glad you're very optimistic. You give us a very optimistic picture from what
yeah,
we've been
absolutely.
reading in recent times.
Yeah. So AI is going to be a tool for humans, not the other
Wonderful,
way.
wonderful. So, yes, yes. So thank you, Gopi Garu. Appreciate the time you spent with us. What we'll do, I think the perspective we got was much more optimistic than other speakers. For the first time, we see somebody who's very happy with the way things are moving in the right direction for the jobs and future of humanity. I'm glad. Thank you, sir. And then we'll catch up again. Thank you,
Then,
Gopi. Appreciate it.
ಧನ್ಯವಾದ.